Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman, here with Shaggy TV, bringing you championship night here for the Hometown Heroes divisions. Of course, that's 360 and 410 sprint cars, and as always, they're presented to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Week in and week out, they've been here with us for Hometown Heroes. We appreciate all of you at Flatline Racing Bodies. Couldn't put on these broadcasts here without you guys. And, well, you know, to be honest with you, normally championship night, a lot closer. You know, there's normally guys watching out here, you know, letting guys, the top guys, 2 or 3 here, duke it out for the championship. And, well, in reality, in the 360s and the 410s here, Blake Chapman, I mean, the kid turned it on this season. He hasn't even run the max amount of races. He missed a week or 2. Blake, in the 360s, he's run 10 races. Three wins, but this is what's phenomenal. In the 10 races, 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s. You know, that means the kids, all of the races that count for him this season, because we get 2 drop weeks. So far, they're all in the top 5, and in the 410s, you thought, hey, maybe it couldn't get better. Well, it does. 5 wins and 9 top 5, so a little more dominance from the kid here in the 410s, but still battle on for those, you know, 2nd, 3rd spots here. Randy Shreves and Brian Moore Sr., they're only separated by 7 points here for P2. Not, like I say, too sure what that looks like after we look at the drop weeks, but there is going to be an ability for, or, you know, an opportunity, I guess is the correct word, for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to possibly swap around, but Blake dug hard all season, and he earned the right to take home the championship here. I liked when NASCAR used to be like that. Was never a fan of this chase thing where you reorganized everyone. It's all about being consistent all season, and that's what Blake Chapman was able to do here. We're riding around with Devo. Let's ride around here with... Oh, and as we get Barry on there, he pulls over. We're going to switch to the general here, Andy Patton. Watch that 87 rip around a little bit. I'm seeing a Iracing 87 over his paint. Shaggy better have Iracing numbers hidden. Okay, I do. It's not on the 518, so Andy probably uploaded that in the wrong scheme there instead of his zone number paint. Trading paints can get a little confusing. They have 2 slots. They have one where if you upload it, they'll sim stamp a number to it. That's what we're seeing with that doubled up 87, but the 518 gets on by, then tightens up and gets on the wall. He's going to pull that thing off as Jack Clevenger in the 78 rolls around here, and 15 of, so not sure when we're going to roll here, but it will be any minute, I'd imagine. Watch Jack Clevenger rip it down the backstretch, really send it off. There's still a good bit of grip there on the entry to 3 and 4, and we're going to see guys like Blake Chapman, Jack Clevenger use all of it. Donovan Ross will try as well. Right now, we've only got, or I shouldn't say only, I mean, we've got 15 guys here. 14 have put in the time. Cale Bixler, not sure if he just joined or what the deal was there, but not able to get a time in just yet. And, well, we're going to get ready to roll into qualifying. Here is... we watch the guys roll around, and Shaggy's going to mess around here, too. One of these nights. We'll move that qualifying bar the whole way down to the bottom of the screen, or at least try to. Here's going to see me finagle the Iracing logo up out of the way as we bring up... who do we want to go with? Let's go with Donovan Ross here for lap number 1. Say, your eyes aren't tricking you. I'm just trying to get that up out of the way of the qualifying. Bracket the Iracing logo. There we go. Devo comes around. Where's that going to put him? P4 there for lap number 1. Randy Shreves the current quick time until the 99. The Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham, man, so good here at Knoxville. Him and Blake got to be the 2 favorites. Speaking of Blake, you see at the bottom of the screen, purple, purple. You know what that means. 15.57. Gavin can't improve on lap number 2. And Blake still has 1 more lap to go. Everyone else has put in their 2 laps. Second and final time around. Blake slows down, but does he really care? He didn't need it as a 1/10 of a second on the field. And Blake Chapman is going to qualify P1 here, but Going to have to work his way through the heats as they invert the top 4. Not sure if we're going to have 3 heats with 5 drivers, or if we'll go 2 with 8 and 7. We'll have to see here as we get ready to roll. Because like I said, well, I mean, they'll give these guys a minute or two here. Refreshed. Well, it's fixed setup, so I was going to say change setups, but it is fixed here. Hometown Heroes, I forgot. So no fuel adjustments. You don't have anything that'll catch you out. And well, heat race number 1. Shaggy forgot to move that leaderboard here and bring up the starting grid, but you see there, it's looking like we're going to have 2 heat races. And let's go ahead, take a look at that starting grid. Rounding out the field on the outside of row number 4, we have the 36 of Barry Goldner. Into his inside in the 747, the Bassman, Roger Craig. Outside of row number 3 in the 218, that's Superman, Kurt Schatzer. And to his inside in the 05, that's Devo, Donovan Ross. Outside of row number 2 in your quick time qualifier in the 20, that's Blake Chapman. We call him the salesman. And to his inside in that 99, man, he can come out of nowhere, steal a win from you. We call him the Dark Knight. That's Gavin Chatham. 100 grand, Joseph Grandy lines up on the outside of row number 2. And to his inside in that number 4 machine, we've got Greg Parmalee as we get ready to go. Have some fun here at the Knoxville Raceway. 6 laps. To settle the score here is the pace truck. Not going to pull off. Going to go around one more time here. What's the rush? We want to have some fun out here tonight. See, 100 grand in that 518, man. He's going to try to drop that hammer as soon as the green flag comes out. He got a quick car. Probably, maybe sandbag qualifying a little bit, or maybe had a little bit of a hiccup because that 518, he's a top dog as well. Really, anybody in that top 4 winning this race shouldn't surprise you. As a lot of skill at the front of this field as we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. And well, that green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Knoxville Raceway. We dropped the hammer and we're underway. I told you Joseph wasn't going to waste any time. And right away, Greg Parmalee first back to 5th is got sucked up like a vacuum. Now falls all the way back to last here. And battle on for the lead as Blake Chapman tries to find a way around the 518. He knows he's got to do it quick. He's going to have the 99 of Gavin Chatham beating at the back door here any time. So if you've got anything to get around that 518, you know you got to throw it in there. You got to make it quick. See, he runs that lane higher than Joseph. Gets that run middle off. Has all that speed. Joseph pulls away on entry. Blake catches him a little bit in the center. Now, not so much here in 3 and 4. Let's watch it 1 and 2. Joseph adjusted a little bit. Went back up to the top shelf. Now, we take a look back behind. Let's see what Gavin Chatham's doing in the 99. He's still sending it in deep, floating it up and letting it catch. Not as good of a run center off, but has good straightaway speed. And right now, the top 3, it's anybody's guess as to who wins this thing. 1.5 laps to go. Rolling through 3 and 4. The flagman's got his hand on that white flag. It waves. One more trip around. Can Gavin try to get up to P2? Can Blake dethrone 100 grand? He's got 2 more corners to do it. Final time through 3 and 4. Joseph Grandy sees the checkered flag, and he's going to start on the front row for tonight's feature. Followed by Blake Chapman, Gavin Chatham, Kurt Schatzer, Donovan Ross, Roger Craig, Barry Goldner, and Greg Parmalee. Because that'll be the inside here to your features. Only have 2 heat races this evening, so this will be the outside starting rows here of your feature. Let's see who's going to win that front row position. Starting all by himself there, row number 4 in the 789. That's Cale Bixler to His outside in front of him on the outside of row number 3 in the 558, Brian Moore Sr. To his inside in the 75, that's the mare, Steve Bixler. Jack Clevenger to the outside of row number 2, and to his inside in the 56, that's Randy Shreves. The 814 of Brad Waite starts on the outside of row number 1, and starting on the pole in the 87, well, that's the General Andy Patton. Get ready to go play here at Knoxville Raceway. 6 more laps to settle the outside starting lineup here for tonight's feature. Presented to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Track's starting to widen up a little bit. I mean, you saw guys like Gavin floating up to the top shelf trying to find grip. Blake made Randy move up, when he saw him making up some time. So right now it can be done. It's not easy, but as the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 6 laps to determine the outside rows here at the Knoxville Raceway, and we're underway. Good run here from the 814 of Brad Waite. Look at this yellow and black machine carry that speed as he sails it in. Randy Shreves gets real close to touching him in that 56. No harm, no foul, they race on. At 814 of Brad Waite not giving up, but Randy, man, he's no slouch down there on the bottom. He's going to give it his all, and he sends it in. Going to slide up in front of the 814. Brad Waite not going to crack the throttle. He's going to drive up there and find a groove Shaggy didn't know was there. Now he's forced to, though, as Randy, too tough to tame on the bottom, slides up in front. Now he's got his sights set on the General Andy Patton, but as he sees the cross flags this time by, only 3 more laps to go. He's going to have to make his move quick. As they barrel down the backstretch here at the Knoxville Raceway, Andy with a better runoff. Gets that good drive, kind of extends that lead, and well, it's because he's given up so much time in the center of the corner. You see that 56 of Randy Shreves really swooping in here like a hawk trying to pick up the lead, but just running out of room. And as we roll through 3 and 4, that white flag's in the air. We got one more trip around. Can the General hold off, or can Randy Shreves make a big move? Final time through 3 and 4. The 87 protects with a little slider of his own as he comes out of 4. The checkered flag waves. Andy Patton takes home heat race number 2, followed by Randy Shreves, Brad Waite, Jack Clevenger, Brian Moore Sr., Steve Bixler, and Cale Bixler rounding out the field. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Watch a little sponsor video here and then we'll be back for the last 30 seconds of warm-ups or so. Stick around. We're back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network here. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. Bringing you part one here, getting ready for the 360 feature. Presented to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. I talked a little bit about in the beginning. Blake Chapman, he's going to be a champion at the end of the night. So guys may race him a little harder than normal, just knowing that he basically has it locked up. And I mean, they're going to go out here, try to take this win from him, but Blake wants nothing more than to bring home a championship. And another winner's check here from the Knoxville Raceway. So we'll have to see what the kid in the 20 can do, if he can talk about some Galens and bring home the trophy, or if, you know, we're only going to be hearing from him for championship's sake, which, truthfully, to me, may mean a little more than a win here, but to each their own as the checkered flag flies, and we get ready to take a look here at the starting lineup for tonight's main event here. Or first of two main events, but the main event for the 360 sprint cars. Starting on the inside of row number 8 in the 4, that's Greg Parmalee. And to his and in front of him to the outside of row number 7, and that's 7, 8, 9, Cale Bixler. To his inside in the 36, starting in that lucky number 13, that's Barry Goldner. Steve Bixler to the outside of row number 6, and to his inside in that 747 machine, that's the Bassman, Roger Craig. Outside of row number 5 in the 558, that's Brian Moore Sr. And to his inside in the 05, that's Devo Donovan Ross. Jack Clevenger lines up on the outside of row number 4 in the 78. And to his inside in the 218, that's Superman Kurt Schatzer. Row number 3 to the outside in the 814, we've got Brad Wade, into his inside in the 99, the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham. Randy Shreves in the 56 takes the outside of row number 2. And to his inside, the guy who's going to take home the championship at the end of the night in that 20, the salesman, Blake Chapman. Starting on the outside of row number 1 in the 87, that's the General Andy Patton. And to his inside in the 518, that's $100,000, Joseph Grandy. As we roll around one more time here at the Knoxville Raceway, who's going to bring home the trophy here this evening? Like I say, we know who's going to bring home the championship hardware, but still some scores to settle. Guys want to win a race here, you know, to close out. And they're going to give it their all here as the 518 rolls through 3 and 4 for the final time. We're going to see the pace truck pull off, and that green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to play in the clay at Knoxville Raceway. We're underway. Grandy with a good jump. Blake Chapman trying to find that grease down there on the bottom. Hook that thing up, let it slide. Right now just has to deal with P3, but the General Andy Patton got a little loose there on entry, but good drive off. Holds on to P2 for now. P14 of Brad Wade. That black and yellow cars. We see Gavin getting to the back of Blake Chapman. There's contact, no caution. That's Devo involved in that. Greg Parmalee, Gavin Chatham sitting there. No caution. No caution. And here come the leaders. Man, oh man. There's the caution. Way late. Gets it just in time. And, well, not going to be in time there for Blake Chapman, as Blake lost a lot of spots in that ordeal. Let's go on board here with the 99 of Gavin Chatham. Now, he gets a good run in, but there may be an opening. But, I mean, realistically, I mean, I think he does hit the brakes here, trying not to spin him out. But, I mean, that's just, you know, I know you want to be ambitious. You want to make the pass here at Knoxville, but there is just no lane there. I mean, there's no room for a car to get under. Blake's clearly got that low line. And, man, now Blake Chapman, who... I can't be blamed for this because I just realized I forgot to make my pick here. Now, well, it's almost cheating, but I got to take the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Blake may be able to drive his way back up towards the front, but man, it's not going to be easy here. 25 laps, fixed setup. Only going to have 22 to go, I think, here when we take the green flag. So, not going to be easy. A lot of fast cars. You got to work your way around. This really opens the door now for guys like Brad Waite, Andy Patton to go up here, try to throw some punches at the 518. You know that 20 car, Blake Chapman, he was going to do it. And I don't mean that, like, you know, aggressively. Blake was going to race clean, but, I mean, he was definitely, you know, going to send it in. And while I'm thinking about it, you know, all the drivers out there, family members, we've all been through a tough time. We had a driver going through a tough time with his daughter, and while she's getting better, hospital bills aren't cheap. $30,000 so far they owe to the hospital. So we're having the Cassie Hine benefit Monday. We're having 3 50-lap races. Make sure and check out the website for that. But Monday here, Cassie Hine benefit night. It's the place to be as we're back underway here at the Knoxville Raceway. Randy Shreves trying to hold on. Oh, as Superman climbs the wall. No, caution for the 218. I mean, what do you got to do? There it goes. He's trying to get that thing rolling. I mean, the right front, I think it's stuck in the wall. I don't know if Superman's going to be able to get that thing out. As boy, oh boy, back under caution once again here at the Knoxville Raceway. As we'll have to see if the 218 had some help here. And we're going to try to... And this is a case, too, where, you know, it's a perfect example. You can't blame Kurt for this, and you can't blame Brian Moore Sr. Because, you know, floating up near that right rear, that can just get you into trouble. And if you're Kurt, you got to know Dino. I mean, you go back and listen to him and I talk last night at Eldora. This is a perfect example. I mean, right now, you barely, I mean, you know, you're halfway on that right rear tire. He doesn't know you're there. You got to crack that throttle. You know he's floating and coming up. You got to live to, you know, race another day there because it's not going to hurt you, as we see. I mean, Kurt's night's arguably over, and Brian Moore gets to keep on rolling. And, you know, as he should, Brian didn't necessarily do anything. I mean, you're entitled to floating up to the wall on dirt racing. I don't care what anyone says. You don't really have to necessarily hold that line. If you don't know that car's out there, you're entitled to float up. It's all about corner entry and making sure you can pick that throttle up as you hit the apex. So if you're running low coming off the corner, you're only going to hurt yourself on corner entry if you stay low going down the straightaways. You got to float up. You got to try to find that room. And if you don't know that guy's out there, you're going to do it. And like I say, it's a tough break for the 218. Kurt's one of my favorite drivers, but just a case of where, you know, maybe sometimes you want to be the tortoise instead of the hare here. As we roll through 3 and 4, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. For the third time, we're back underway at the Knoxville Raceway. Joseph Grandy with an excellent start here as the General has a little hiccup, and he opens the door for Jack Clevenger. The 78 sends that puppy in. He takes over P3, shuts the door on the General, and Andy Patton got to put his head down and go back to work here. 20 laps to go, plenty time. Brian Moore Sr. up 4 spots right now. Not the hard charger was for the moment, but actually we're going back to the hard charger. Jack Clevenger with that pass up 5 spots here in the early goings. And you know, a lot of that has to do with some drivers having mistakes, but you got to be there. You got to be ready to pounce, and that's exactly what the 78 did there. Up 5 spots early on. Harry Goldner watching Gavin Chatham and Roger Craig race tooth and nail with each other. Gavin Chatham sends it up. Roger's got to crack that throttle, cuts underneath exactly like you're supposed to do. The 99 shuts the door, though, and tells him to go home. Battle for the lead is the 56, getting a little impatient, wants to lead the way here at Knoxville. Can he find a way around the 518, or is he going to be stuck in line as Joseph Grandy turn it up? 16 more laps to go. Sends it in there, grabs the cushion, makes up time, center off. You'll see we'll be all over that 518 as we enter. But right now through 3 and 4, it just seems like Joseph Grandy, we saw it in the heat races. That's where he's making the money right now. That slider line through 3 and 4 is good, and the slider line through 1 and 2 is good enough. Not what you want to be necessarily, but he doesn't want to open up the door for Randy. That's why he's got to run that line, and it's going to promote for some good racing. And speaking of some good racing, look at the salesman here, involved in an early accident, raced his way back up to 7. Can he find a way to hoist himself back onto this podium tonight? Or is he just going to have to scramble for a top 5 as he drives it in under the 814 of Brad Waite? Randy Shreves thinking about sending it in deep here. He looks under the 518. Joseph has a little hiccup on the outside. But big head of steam. He thinks about shutting the door on the 56. They're close. They're close. They maybe make a little bit of contact. Randy letting him know he's there. That 56 drives in deep. Doesn't have the room to float it up just yet in front of the 518. But they are side by side at the line. And here it comes. Slide job for the lead as Joseph Grandy counters back. Will we get another one here in 3 and 4? The 518 floats up looking for a little more. The 56 counters back. Joseph Grandy at the line. 10 laps to go. How can they keep this up for 10 more laps? Back and forth, back and forth. That's exactly what Jack Clevenger wants to see, though. Hopefully he can reel these guys in. But now Randy Shreves all clear ahead. Smooth sailing for the 56, able to complete the pass. Now can he extend this lead? As we go back, Blake Chapman got himself back up into the top 5, was able to get around the general. Gavin Chatham trying to fight his way on through as well. He got into Blake earlier, but pitted on the same caution. Oh, he almost gets into that drives that right front into the outside wall in 1 and 2. Caught a little more grip than he was expecting for that 99, but all safe and sound here. 7 laps to go, this time by for the 56. Ryan Moore Sr. looking down to his left and seeing a familiar face in that 20. Blake might throw a bag of popcorn out at him as he drives on by. Plenty of time. Can he do that, or will Brian Moore shut the door? They're both up on the top through 1 and 2. Blake trying to build up some steam here. Probably trying to think about throwing a slider. Here it comes in 3 and 4. Blake Chapman sends it in. Brian Moore counters back. It's Blake at the line, but only by a nose. Brian sends it in deep. Blake counters back. Advantage 20. He's going to sail this in where the slider line works best in 3 and 4. And that 20 is going to look to drive away. But Brian Moore Sr. says, wait, not just yet. Oh, short slider. Blake ready for it, though. Counters back, and he's got him clear going into 3. 3 laps to go, this time by for the 56 of Randy Shreves. Hasn't really been able to pull away from the 518 of Joseph Grandy, but not really under any pressure either. Just smooth sailing right now for the 56. The last thing he needs is a caution as we're coming to 2 to go, this time by. Randy Shreves coming up on lap traffic, shouldn't be an issue. Roger Craig bows out of the way going down the backstretch. And as we roll through 3 and 4, the white flag waves, one more trip around. Randy's run that 56 all but perfect. He had to work hard to get around the 518 slider after slider, but didn't give up. prevailed and takes home the checkers here at Knoxville Raceway. Joseph Grandy P2, Blake Chapman edges out Jack Clevenger at the line. Man, oh man, we're going to have to go back and take a look at that one here. As we'll have to see what happened between those two. So Jack Clevenger gets into the outside wall, comes down, gets into the 20, but Blake with enough momentum able to go on by, and Blake bringing home a podium here along with the championship trophy. We're going to give these guys a minute or two to catch their breath, and well, then we're going to start off with $100,000 here tonight. We'll interview our champion last. And give Joseph a minute or two here to catch his breath. And we'll pull the man up here. Well, Joseph, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man, we know how difficult it can be to be the leader. You know, you don't necessarily know when the right time, to adjust your line is. You got to stay committed to what you feel comfortable. And do you feel like maybe that was the difference here tonight? Because once Randy got by you and you kind of ran in those tire tracks, you didn't exactly let him get away from you.
Yeah, I felt overall I was the faster car. I know he was battling for championship points too, so I wasn't also not going to try anything crazy for the one either. But congrats to Randy. I don't know who won the championship, but congrats to them, and overall fun race.
Yeah, I think Blake, he kind of ballparked both of these here coming into tonight. I think he pretty much had them clinched. But
okay.
Man, tonight it seemed like it was a pretty good racetrack, but sometimes, Joe, we see the bottom work, and it seemed like tonight you needed to be up top. There wasn't a lot of grip down there.
Yeah, when the bottom's in at Knoxville, I'm horrible. So, and the cushion wasn't treacherous like it usually is either. I was able to get my tires up there, and I wasn't really bouncing around like you normally do. So it was overall pretty smooth race.
Well, hey, congratulations, man, closing out the championship night here with a podium. Congratulations. We going to see you in the 410s?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, man. Well, before you get out of here, who would you like to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing and Repair, Highline Photography, all the boys over at Inferno Motorsports, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and appreciate you, man.
Well, great run, Joseph. Look forward to talking to you after this 410 race, brother.
Thanks.
And now we're going to bring up the man who took home the checkered flags. Randy, you gave us a show while you did it too, brother. You and Joe back and forth. And I know, when you come out on top, it's always that much more fun. But in reality, how much fun were you having there in that slider battle?
Man, that was a blast. I'm glad me and him can just, throw slide jobs like that cleanly and, put on a show for everybody. But, yeah, it was definitely tough to get around him and make that thing stick. But, once I got around him, man, I just tried to not think about anybody behind me and just think about what's in front of me and find a line and run it and just try to stay up front, man.
Yeah, it seemed like you took advantage of, you were one of those first guys to kind of really step up there and whip that thing around the corners. Other guys were kind of throwing that slider through 1 and 2. And, well, once Joe got behind you, he had the blueprint there so he could follow you and he kept up with you. But it just seemed like, man, Randy, did you know that top line was going to come in when it did? Because, legitimately, your first car to find it, rip like that and make that slider work. So that was a good find.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad I found that, being back there in second, behind Joseph, I could do a little bit of searching around and, just find the line and then just follow it after that.
Well, hey, man, with your win here tonight, I know it's not as good as that top spot, but should be bringing you home here P2 in the points. That's not too shabby. So congratulations on that, Randy. Congratulations on your big win here to close out the 360s for the year. Who would you like to thank, my man?
Definitely want to thank everybody at Coast to Coast. you, Shaggy, for the broadcast, KSB Builders, Dylan Shreves Designs, Flatline Racing Bodies, and everybody for watching.
Well, hell of a run, Randy. Look forward to talking to you after the 410 race, brother.
Thanks, man.
And now we bring up our champion here. And man, I thought I was going to be interviewing 4 guys after this race, Blake, but a little hiccup from Jack Clevenger. You steal P3. I mean, did you see that coming after the start to the race you had here tonight?
Not really. I mean, I didn't feel great early on. I didn't feel like the bottom was really there. You could run basically everywhere on this track tonight. It felt really good. Running up top, running that slider line, and running the bottom. I think I passed guys using all 3 of those lines. So it was just really, really good track tonight. Made it really racing and made my job a lot easier to come back up to the front. So, fortunately we were able to do that. And then, fortunately I saw Jack into the wall there and I tried to get as low as I could. Fortunately, only had minimal damage there and I was able to steal 3rd at the line.
Yeah, what goes into, I mean, when you look at the standings, I mean, obviously we didn't have an updated one, but one less race, you're still leading this thing. You pretty much know in your head you have it locked up. So what's your mentality here tonight after that early accident? Do you put your head down and, points race, or are you trying to drive this thing up through the field and get as many as you can?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be as fast as I can be every night I'm out here. I don't really pay too much attention to the points, at all during the season. So and figured I had a pretty big league going into tonight, so I was just going to come out here and drive it like I usually do and try and finish the best spot that I can.
Well, hey, man, it worked. After the unfortunate start here, you bring it back up to the podium. But most of all, you're bringing home the hardware, man. Congratulations, 360 Hometown Heroes champion. How's it feel, brother?
Yeah, it feels really, really good, Zach. I got to thank a whole bunch of people. I got to thank the parents for watching all season long. I got to thank all the guys at the Crite Sim Racing team and the Can-Am Racing team. Of course, got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for, supporting this class all season long. And of course, I got to shout out Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Got some of the best stuff out there with the holidays coming up. You have to have some Galen's during the holidays. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. And of course, I got to thank you, Shaggy the Man, for broadcasting this all season long.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, man. And drive it like you stole it here in the 410s. You got that one locked up, too. So hopefully I'm talking to you on the podium.
Yeah, I hope so, too. Thank you.
All right, good luck, Blake.
Thanks.
That's Blake Chapman, your 360 Hometown Hero champion. I mean, what a season. Add another top 5 to the list. If the kid shows up, he basically parks it on the podium. He teased us. He thought we going to get somebody else different on the podium, but he used his magic powers to get Jack in the wall there through 3 and 4 on the last lap. Just pulled that Harry Potter wand out. We're not going to get a good camera view of it. He probably held it too low for us, but I'm telling you, that's what he did. Zapped Jack up into the wall, takes that podium, and takes home the trophy. Like I say, he's going to be our champion here for the 410s, but that doesn't mean you don't want to stick around for some big boy racing action. Now we get the real dogs out here, the 410 sprint cars. We go play in the clay at Knoxville Raceway. So stick around on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with part 2 of Hometown Heroes presented by Flatline Racing Bodies.
It's time for another edition of Iracing Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for part 2 of Flatline Racing Bodies. Hometown heroes, and we've got the 410s out here ready to play at the Knoxville Raceway. Excuse me there for the hiccup. General Andy Patton. Quick time right now with a 14.93. 100 grand holding off P2. Brian Moore Sr., Randy Shreves, and Gavin Chatham round out your top 5 here. Right now, let's take a look. Got Rick Main in here. He wasn't in the last race. And Michael Todd. But other than that, I think we had everyone. I believe Pat was in that race. But we're up to 16 guys. So building up a little bit of a field here for the 410s. Bassman rolls his machine out. Oh, with his with his Canada helmet there. Look at him. Oh, does a donut there. And that's going to be a wrap here on warm-ups as we get ready to roll into qualifying. We pull up that horrendous black bar at the bottom of the screen that Shaggy needs to move lower, but can't mid-broadcast because, well, that would be a little tricky. Just put it that way. We're going to get rid of that timing tower for now, just to watch the times. We'll pull them up, but riding around here, Roger Craig, lap number 1. Rolls down the backstretch through 3 and 4. Guys are starting to put in some times here. Let's take a look at him. Brian Moore Sr., current quick time with a 15:44. Greg Parmalee was P2, but the Bassman, clips the inside wall. Or clips the inside barrier and hard into the outside wall, as Gavin Chatham moved to P2, but not for long, as the 56 of Randy Shreves, your 360 winner here this evening, takes quick time. He comes around one more time. Can he improve? He can. He's slower. Rick Mayne purple through sector 2. Where's that put him? Only P7, but here comes the salesman, Blake Chapman, lap number 2 with a 15:31. Roger going back out here, but I don't believe he's going to have a chance to do another lap. This should be it. I see it's counting lap number 2 here. He'll get the checkered flag. Probably realize that here. Yeah, pull in, unless he's just going to maybe test a little bit. But this lap won't count. Barry Goldner about to go out. He's got 1 lap in. Where's Goldner the first time? P12 coming around lap number 2. Gonna run out of time, not gonna finish. Superman Kurt Schatzer was out there trying to put his lap in as well, but ran out of time. And 2 heat races, 8 apiece. That's the way Shaggy likes it. Right to the point here. And rounding out the field here, heat race number 1, starting to the outside of row number 4 in the 814. That's Brad Waite. It is inside in the 117. That's Michael Todd. I'm not too sure. Sometimes, let's see, Shaggy, make this disappear. Now, sometimes Michael Todd will run a mystery machine style scheme like Shaggy used to, but not tonight in the sprint cars. Outside of row number 3, the librarian Pat Boyce in the 41, and is inside in the 747, the Bassman Roger Craig. Your quick time qualifier starting on the outside of row number 2 in the 20. That's Blake Chapman, and his inside in the 558, Brian Moore Sr. Outside of row number 1 in the 99, that's the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham, and his inside in the 187, starting on the pole, Rick Mayne. We got 6 laps to settle the score here. Shaggy gets to redo the SDK, as we all see there. Did not look like it should. We roll across. Now I get to try to reload mine. As that doesn't want to work, but the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 underway as Rick Mayne sails off into turn 1 and 2. Good run going on the backstretch for Gavin Chatham to see the Dark Knight peek up right behind the 187. The 99 all over him, and here comes Blake Chapman from 4th to 3rd early trying to dig. Brad Waite started 8th. Was up to 6th there for the moment. The seat at the spot back to the 41 is not really much of a place to go. Roger Craig running that inside line right in front of him. Gonna have to find a way to step up back to that top shelf as he almost gets into the 41. But look at the front 3. You could put them under a blanket here at Knoxville. Gavin looking to the inside here. Can he find a run? on Rick Mayne. He's going to send it in deep. Slide job. Can Rick Mayne counter going down the backstretch? He sends it in low. Gavin thought about shutting the door, but saw him late in the mirror, reacted. They're going to be side by side here coming down the front stretch. Can Rick send it in deep? Gavin shuts the door in the 99. Meanwhile, the 20 licking his lips here in P3. Can he find a way around the pair here? He's running out of time as we hop one under the wing. We'll see that white flag flying final time around. Gavin Chatham, your current leader. Blake Chapman looking hard for P2. He has a hiccup onto the inside. He's got to shut the door. Brian Moore Sr. coming, but final time through 3 and 4. The Dark Knight Gavin Chatham going to start on the front row for tonight's features. Blake Chapman contact. Not sure what happened. Rick Mayne had a hiccup. Blake then had a hiccup. Oh, man, we're going to have to. It is going to kick us out of this. I know it is. And I may have to go in and do this manually. So Rick was coming for a counter down as Blake's going up. They met in the middle. That's just hard racing. Can't blame either driver there. And boy, oh boy, Blake's night and Rick's night just got that much more difficult here after the late contact in heat race number 1. Starting on the outside of row number 4 in the 218, that's Superman Kurt Schatzer. Into his inside in the 87, that's the General Andy Patton. Outside of row number 3 in the 36, that's Barry Goldner. Into his inside in the 4 machine, we've got Greg Parmalee. Outside of row number 2, that's the 56 of Randy Shreves. Into his inside in the 518, we got $100,000, Joseph Grandy. Outside of row number 1 for your second and final heat race here for your Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes 410s. In the 78 machine, we've got Jack Clevenger. And to his inside in the 75, we call him the mayor. That's Steve Bixler. We get ready to roll here. Heat race number 2. Bixler would love nothing more than a front row starting spot here for tonight's feature. But he's got a bunch of dogs behind him that are hungry, ready to steal that bone from the 75. As we roll out of 4 for the final time, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Knoxville Raceway. We're underway. Oh, Jack Clevenger with a hiccup. He catches the 518, who catches Randy Shreves, who, man, he's got a big old hill to climb. And Joseph Grandy, he's looking at starting at the tail end of tonight's feature unless something big happens up front. As Steve Bixler looking at a second lead right now over the 78 of Jack Clevenger. Jack may have some damage on that thing. It doesn't. Yeah, you can see that right front bent out. Not one to turn for him. Greg Parmalee tries to avoid. Oh, man. Who was that involved? Barry Goldner in the 36. Now he's got a broken left front. This thing turning in to a junkyard real quick here at the Knoxville Raceway. Heat race number 2, man. Lot of pit crews not going to be too happy with what they have to do. Let's hop on board Steve Bixler. You can see that gap. Right on the back of the helmet here. 1.2 seconds to Superman, and only 2 more laps to go. You got to think Steve Bixler looking to start P2 here in the main event. This is your battle, if any. Jack Clevenger trying to find a way around Greg Parmalee here for P4 as he looks to the inside with the white flag flying. Sends it up in front of the 4. No, he doesn't. Keeps it down low. But out front, Steve Bixler through 3 and 4 for the final time. He takes home the checkered flags in heat race number 2, followed by Kurt Schatzer, Randy Shreves, Jack Clevenger, Greg Parmalee, Joseph Grandy, Andy Patton, and Barry Goldner. As we get ready to take a short break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we'll be right back with your final event here for Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes, your 410s at the Knoxville Raceway. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. A little over 40 seconds here before we have our final race of the championship here for the 410s. Hometown Heroes. Our champion's been crowned. Gonna be Blake Chapman. If he wants to finish on the podium and take home the hardware, he's going to have a big hill to climb as him and Rick Main make contact at the end of race number 1. Not going to be easy to drive that thing back up there, but if anyone can do it, it's going to be the salesman. Going to have to see. Here's 10 seconds left till we hit the grid. Randy Shreves, your quick time. Jack Clevenger, Gavin Chatham, Joseph Grandy, and Blake Chapman, your top 5. Here's warm-ups come to a close. The checkered flag waves, and we get ready for tonight's main event here in the 410s at the Knoxville Raceway. As we get that starting lineup. Starting on the outside of row number 8 in the 36, that's Barry Goldner, and his inside in the 814, Brad Wade. Andy Patton, the general, lines up to the outside of row number 7 in the 87, and to his inside in the 117, Michael Todd. 100 grand, Joseph Grandy lines up on the outside of row number 6, and to his inside, we've got the salesman, Blake Chapman. Greg Parmley takes that foreign machine and starts on the outside of row number 5. And to his inside in the 187, Rick Main. Outside of row number 4 in the 78, that's Jack Clevenger. And his inside, we've got the librarian in the 41, Pat Boyce. Randy Shreves takes that 56 and lines up on the outside of row number 3. And to his inside in the 747, we've got the Bassman, Roger Craig. Superman Kurt Schatzer takes that 218 and lines up on the outside of row number 2. And to his inside in the 558, Brian Moore Sr. Starting on the front row here for the 410s at Knoxville Raceway. On the outside in the 75, we've got the mayor, Steve Bixler. And starting on the pole in the 99, the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham, as we get ready to go have some fun here at the Knoxville Raceway. Should have 25 laps to get it done here as Shaggy brings it back up. We do. That'll change when we drop the hammer. But this will be the final time through 3 and 4 before we get ready to turn it on as the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Let's go play in the clay in some 410s at the Knoxville Raceway. Kurt Schatzer and Roger Craig almost make some contact. They're 3 wide behind as Randy Shreves sticks his nose in the middle. Gavin Chatham with an excellent start out front, trying to walk away while he can because, man, it is a hornet's nest back here. Contact between the 57 and the 747, and Randy Shreves goes up and over hard here at the Knoxville Raceway. Caution out for the first time. Let's see here. That is not the camera we wanted. My apologies. We're going to roll with this one, see what we see. So he gets into that outside wall. Boy, right in front, man, goes end over end. Hard into that solid wall again. But lands on all fours, and Randy Shreves here. Try to get a little TV view as it looks like, yeah, the Bassman's floating up, but Randy Shreves home, and man, oh man, nowhere for that 56 to go. Jack Clevenger gets involved there as well. He pulls a wheelie. It doesn't look like suffered a lot of damage to that 78, but man, cannot say the same about the 56 of Randy Shreves. Wild ride, and man, hopefully he got that thing down to pit road, able to get the quick repair so he can get back out there, but not looking good for the 56 of Randy Shreves. Looking real good, though, for the one of the newer members of Full Throttle Motorsports, the 99 of Gavin Chatham out front here, and would love to win a race after having a little hiccup there in the 410s, getting into Blake Chapman and doing the right thing, slamming the brakes. But at that point, Blake's race was kind of tossed in the trash, and along with his. So he'd like to go out here, redeem himself, bring home a win here to close out the fall season here for the Coast to Coast Racing League. Looks like the light's still on the pace truck. We are so far behind this pace truck. That's another thing that I absolutely can't stand when you're the leader. Get close to that pace truck. I can do nothing here. Gotta get close to that pace truck here so we can see it. I mean, that pace truck is just gone, disappeared. I really don't even know what happened here. As I think we're gonna, the green flag's high, it's ready to fly, but man, hopefully they don't space us out like that again as we're back underway here at the Knoxville Raceway. And Gavin Chatham drops the hammer. Meanwhile, who got in the wall there was that Steve Bixler in the 75, I believe. The mare looks to have a handle on it now, but big shot in the wall coming out of 2. Lucky he didn't break that right front. Looks okay for the time being. Kurt Schatzer, though, he's got his eyes set on that 75 here, trying to reel him in, as Blake Chapman's doing the same thing back here to the Bassman. Blake ripping that lip to the outside, trying to catch up to that Mission 22 747, but right now not having as much luck as I would originally thought. Well, take back everything I said. Good run out of 2. Look at Blake Chapman, goes to the high side, moves on up to P5, 11th to 6th here in the opening laps. Brian Moore Sr. slowly reeling in our leader in that 99 as we got a battle on our hands. Brian peeks to the inside, but can't get it done. Steve Bixler protects down low. Kurt Schatzer drives up around him on the high side. We've got a new man on that final spot of the podium, but Steve Bixler sending it in one more time. He's not going to go away that easy. Kurt has a hiccup, gets into the outside wall. They're side by side as they cross the starter stand. Meanwhile, Blake Chapman licking his lips, running these guys down as Brian Moore Sr. throws a slide job for the lead, and we've got a caution at the Knoxville Raceway. Brad Waite involved in the 814. Andy Patton involved as well. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of what happened here. So Andy, a little squirrely coming off, just slaps him with that left rear ever so slightly. Jack Clevenger then with nowhere to go. The right front's broken on that 814. He's trying to turn, nowhere to go, hard into the wall. And man, that 814, he ends up on his lid. And it's going to be all she wrote there for 2 A&J Custom Creations machines. It's a tough break for Brad Waite and Andy Patton. If you're out there watching, though, let us know who you're rooting for here. If you're commenting on the Coast to Coast page, Shaggy's not trying to ignore you, but I don't have the authority to read the messages there on my software, and with all the things that I have running, it's really hard for me to check that chat on YouTube. I definitely try to as often as I can, but Shaggy's not ignoring you out there. It's just a little more convenient to see the YouTube messages and, well, my Facebook over there at Shaggy TV. But if you're out there, we do appreciate you tuning in, and just interested to know who you're rooting for this evening. We have some Blake Chapman fans out there, any Brian Moore Sr. fans. He talks about his sister-in-law and brother-in-law, I believe, out there watching. If you're out there watching, let us know where you're from, who you're rooting for. And not necessarily, I guess, where you're from, but where you're tuning in from. That's a better way to put it. Is we're a little closer to that pace truck this time, but I've never understood the letting the Huge gap to the pace car for him. But as we roll off a 4 for the final time, Gavin Chatham set to drop the hammer. Man, they're at a snail's pace right now. Crawling down the front stretch. Gavin drops that hammer. We're back underway. And, well, two guys get to get out of the pits here, not lose a lap because of being slow there on that restart. Not too sure if that's cooperated, but very nice of Gavin to do that here as he gets a great jump. But Blake Chapman, man, already up to P2, gets the 2-for-1 special going down the front stretch. Finds all that grip downstairs where nobody wants to be. And now Gavin's searching down there as well. We got the front two downstairs. Kurt Schatzer trying to hold on to that third and final podium spot, but here comes Brian Moore Sr. He leaves Kurt the lane. Kurt has a little bit of a hiccup there, side by side as they enter 3. Brian shuts the door this time, slide job, takes back over that podium spot, and with a good run down the front stretch, Kurt Schatzer got to put his head down, got to try to run him back down. We saw Rick Main, should have started this thing third, but contact with Blake Chapman and heat number 1 sent him to the back here to start this feature. He's raced his way on up now, up to P4. Can he find a way to get on the podium and work his way around that 558? Joseph Grandy, another guy on the move, started 12th, up to 6th right now in that 518. Love to get up into the top 5 as Kurt Schatzer taps the wall, but we're under caution here at the Knoxville Raceway. I think, is Randy Shreves possibly involved in this in the 56? We'll have to see here. Randy's racing with Steve Bixler. Yeah, he was involved. Goes around on the backstretch, and we're under caution at the Knoxville Raceway. Gavin Chatham leading the way, but now Blake Chapman gets a fresh start here, starting P2 right behind your leader. We'll bring up those gaps for you. Sorry, Shaggy always forgets to click that off. See, that's where it'd be perfect if somebody could just run over to the Shaggy TV chat and yell at me and say, Shaggy, you got fastest lap times on. Give us the gaps so we can see people coming through the field. That's my apologies there. So much easier for me because, like I say, I have a screen full of the live timing, so. Oh, we got Jeff Barker out there watching. What's up, the Brewerton Beast in the chat box tonight? Jeff, if you're out there watching, do we have you for the Daytona 500 if we run the GTP 24 hours? That's something we definitely want you for. I've always got a spot on the team for Jeff Barker. And I'll tell you what, I'm not that much quicker than him, and he is a million more times more consistent than me when you put him in the road car. Jeff Barker, man, if you want clean laps done with barely any incident points, man, that's the guy you want behind the wheel. And he'll probably come on here, comment, say something. I'm full of crap, whatever, but he's full of it. I've seen him whipping around. He knows how to do it. He should. Oh, he's on vacation right now. Jeff, what are you doing talking to me? I thought you were on vacation as the green flag flies one more time. Gavin Chatham out front with 11 to go, but I've been following the Brewerton Beast vacation here. He's going on a cruise, I think. I mean, what a time Jeff's probably having. And no stress here at the racetrack as Brian Moore Sr., you see him getting to the outside wall, but I want to go back up front here. Gavin Chatham to the high side. Blake Chapman to the inside. It is man, oh man. Turn up the wick. We got a battle for the lead as we roll out on 4. 10 laps to go. Who's ready for a show here at the Knoxville Raceway? Blake Chapman looks to the inside. Gavin with a big run on the high side. Blake, though, looks ahead here into 3 and 4. Gavin screaming that thing on the top shelf. Side by side, give it to the salesman. Blake Chapman, does he go up and shut the door? Does he love the grip downstairs? He's just going to stay down there. He's not going to give that thing up. He's not going to show you the fast line and then get out of it. Blake Chapman will go where you won't and make it fast. That kid rips the bottom. That's why he's going to bring home the championship trophy tonight for the 410s. As Rick Main tries to find a way to get to that third and final podium spot. Sticks that 187 to the high side. Gets the door closed. Looks low into 1 and 2. Slide job for third. Brian Moore Sr. counters back here side by side. Going down the backstretch. Does Brian send it to 3 and 4? He does. Rick Main tries to turn that thing down off. What a diamond line. Brian shuts the door. Rick goes back upstairs. Do-si-do here, 6 to go. Can Rick find a way around as he takes a peek, but Brian shuts the door. Rick trying to make that thing skinny here. Fit between the 558 and the wall, but Brian Moore making that thing as wide as a school bus right now here with 5 laps to go. All over the tail tank is the 187. These guys racing hard here as we go on board with Rick. Look how close they were. Rick peeking to the inside, trying to find that grip. Gets him the throttle a little too hard. Steps sideways. And you see that gap to the 558 increase as here comes 100 grand. Joseph Grandy finding some grip downstairs. He takes over fourth. He takes over third. 2 for 1 for 100 grand. Battle on. Brian Moore Sr. steps it back in there. Joseph drives back down on the bottom. Loves all that tack going down the front stretch. And he's got third at the line. Slide job. Can Brian Moore look back underneath? He's got a run going down the backstretch. He's going to send it into turn 3. Grandy's going to counter back out of 4. Rick Main trying to hop aboard that train. Can he find a way around as the white flag flies? Blake Chapman, your leader, out front. What can you say? The kid's dominated this season. He's bringing home the checkers, and the 410 trophy is Gavin Chatham P2. Joseph Grandy brings home P3. Rick Main 4th. Brian Moore Sr. rounds out the top 5. What a hell of a way to close it out here. And oh, the snow condition. Sorry, I got looking at Jeff, but he's got snow conditions. But man, oh man. Hell of a race here to close it out at the end. This was phenomenal. It doesn't get any better than that. Blake and Grandy searching on the bottom. Use it to move on up through the field. And boy, oh boy, we got a show. I think we owe it to Grandy here to go back and watch this white flag lap as this is coming out of turn 4. White flag in the air. Let's see how Grandy got it done. So we're going to go up here to the box with me. You see, I mean, he holds it off. He had that done. He sealed the deal. Rick Diamonds to the inside, and he beats Senior to the line, but just couldn't get up there to P3 as Joseph Grandy. Oh, there's contact there after. Not too sure if Rick was upset or if that was incidental, but either way, Grandy takes on that third and final podium spot. And we're going to give him a minute or two here to catch his breath, and then we'll pull him up here for his interview as the 518 double podium night for 100 grand. And maybe not where he wants to be, but at the end of the day, if you bring home 2 podiums in the same night, you got to be proud. And that's exactly what this man in the 518 did. Joseph, back-to-back podiums, and man, oh man, hell of a move there for third. We caught it live. We were watching those guys battle, man. You snuck up and you get the 2-for-1 deal. How'd you pull that off?
Yeah, watching Clevenger, I saw him do the cut down line once behind me, and he caught up to me pretty quick. So I started doing that, and I started gaining on him pretty quick. And one of them got loose or something, and I rode the top, had a real good run, and I just slid him.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about that cut down line, and well, that's what I was going to ask you about. You know, every time Brian would throw that slider back in 3 and 4, I mean, you basically knew it was coming. You know, you were setting yourself up to diamond off. And do you really think, I mean, do you think that's the difference? Because neither of those guys, I mean, well, I guess Rick started to do it after you drove by, but it seemed like, you know, you pulled a new page out of the book. They didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, that definitely made a difference for sure. Without that cut down, I probably would have stayed in the fourth.
Well, hell, man, you're able to get two
Okay.
podiums here tonight at Knoxville. Oh, as my voice cracks up. Sorry, Joe, but congratulations, man. Hell of a job tonight. Who you want to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing and Repair, Highland Photography, all the guys at Inferno, girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and you, man, for doing the broadcast like always.
Well, man, it'll be a fun week next week, but hopefully we see that 518 out on the track with us. But if not, man, enjoy the vacation. Hell of a season, bud.
Thanks, man.
Now we pull up the man in the 99, Gavin Chatham, who, Gavin, we know you like running that bottom side, but, man, you were having a lot of fun up there, and all of a sudden Blake spoils the party, man, goes to that inside, and he just found some grip that I don't think a lot of people knew was there tonight.
Yeah, I didn't. You know what? I should have learned my lesson the first time when we were racing back here a couple weeks ago, and he found the bottom in 1 and 2, and at the top looked really, really good. Still, it wasn't up against the wall. It wasn't too treacherous, and I thought just ripping the top, and then I started going up there, and he started pulling me. So I'm like, well, I can either just keep running this, or and hopefully the bottom goes away. But not enough cars to really slick up the bottom or the top really. So they stayed. I think towards the end there they kind of balanced out a little bit more, but by that point the damage was already done.
No, obviously, coulda, woulda, shoulda deal, but, man, that caution with 12 to go, you think that was maybe the difference? I mean, you had about a second lead there at that point in time, and we know, I mean, Blake was quick, but it's one thing to chew up a second in 10 seconds, or, in 10 laps, and then make the pass. That's a lot to ask. Do you think the caution was maybe the killer for you?
He was fast regardless. I mean, I think he probably would have ran me down. I mean, he was making some really good speed down there on the bottom. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really pissed. I hate giving these races away. That's just the competitive side of me coming out. It's a couple now in the last couple weeks where we probably maybe should have walked away with a better finish in second. But all in all, it's a good run for us and a good night in general. Definitely some misfortune in 360 race on my doing, and we were able to work our way back up through there, and then the 410s as well. So solid finishes all around tonight, and we'll take it.
Yeah, man. Seemed like, you had a couple hiccups there early in the season, but you joined that FTM crew, man. The luck started to change. You find your way back up on the podium here pretty consistently. So for that, Gavin, I'm pumped. Love having you up here. Hell of a run, man. Even better season. I look forward to you contending for that championship next year. But before I kick your butt out of here, man, who you want to thank on that car, brother?
Shaggy, I just want to thank you for doing an awesome job with the broadcast week in and week out. It's always fun going back and listening to the races and listen to you commentate them. So thank you for taking the time to come out and do this stuff and put on a good show for everybody. I just want to thank Coast to Coast, everyone, all the sponsors, Flatline Racing Bodies, longtime sponsor of Wednesday night here. Thank all the sponsors, all the admin, everybody behind the scenes at Coast to Coast. Puts these races on, allows us to come out here and compete and put on a good show for everybody. Just want to thank Chatham Motorsports, My Chick Motorsports Design, Velocity Races Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, and then Full Throttle Motorsports. Thanks to all the sponsors and the team and all the help. Just want to thank the fans for coming out watching these races night in and night out. I hope we put a good show on for y'all each and every week, and I just want to thank my fans as well for taking the time to support me.
Well, man, congratulations. You got a fan up here in the booth. One of your biggest. Love having you up here. Congratulations on a good season, man. And like I say, I look forward to a lot more of these next year, brother.
Thanks, man. You have a great night, all right?
Yep, you too, Gavin. That's your P2 finisher. And, well, I say it all the time. My long-lost cousin stole all the talent, didn't leave me any. Takes home 2 trophies tonight, along with a checkered flag here in the 410s. And Blake, man, you did it after getting into some trouble there in heat race number 1. Up 10 spots, kid. How do you do it week in and week out with these wings?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just the track was really good. I love running here at Knoxville, so just being really comfortable in the car and on the track definitely helped. We had a couple cautions, guys in front of me wrecked. That also helped. But, I was ripping the top early. I thought that was the place to be. And, we picked a couple guys off there before the last caution, running the bottom and put us in second there on the restart. And, if I was in Gavin's spot, I would have ran the same lines. I would have ran the top in 1 and 2 and the bottom in 3 and 4 because I thought those were the fastest lines. But, he was just kind of a sitting duck out there. And in second, that really put me in the driver's seat to, experiment with the track a little bit, see what worked. And we went to the bottom in 1 and 2 and we were able to hug that berm and then get the grip coming off. It was really, really fast. So, just being second in that position really is what propelled us to get the victory here tonight.
Yeah, that seemed to be the difference. You're talking about riding off, getting as close to that inside berm as you can and then hitting that tack coming off. I mean, how close? Are you mashing that thing full throttle when you're on the bottom going down the straightaway? Like, is that the real difference there, you think? Just the amount of power going down the straightaways?
Yeah, probably. Running the top, you got to be a little bit careful coming off the corners, and when you're running the bottom, you're able to, just get on it and stay on it throughout, the whole front stretch, back stretch, or whatever. So, we got to be a little more careful though on corner entry. You got to set the car up a little bit better running the bottom than the top, and something that I've really mastered here at Knoxville. So, fortunately, it was there tonight for us, and we took it.
Yeah, man, no kidding. I mean, you worked your way back up through there after the misfortune in the 360s, and, well, you find a lane that nobody else really used here this evening, and, you opened up the playbook, I think, for Joseph Grandy to use that bottom line and kind of work his way on up to the podium. So, great run here, Blake. Congratulations, man. 2 trophies. I mean, I wish I knew what that was like. Maybe someday, but...
Oh, you'll get there.
Well, hey, man, tonight's about you. So, congratulations, dude. 4-Town Hero champion. How's it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. Just like the last time, I can't do it without everybody involved. Of course, I got to thank my parents for watching every week and all the guys down at the Crite Sim Racing team. This includes Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Got to thank Andy at AJ Custom Creations. And, of course, the main sponsor, Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. The holidays are coming up and you got to have some Galen's. You just have to have it. And it's some really, really good stuff. And don't forget, when you go to their website and check out, to use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes all season long, and my long lost cousin Shaggy, you for broadcasting this thing all season long.
Well, hey, man, you're always one of my best interviews. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, very eloquent. You're not snobby, and you do what it takes out there on the track, but you do it clean. So you earned this one, Blake. Congratulations, man. And I'm sure this won't be the last time Shaggy talks to you up here.
Yeah, I sure hope not.
And Blake Chapman, man, brings home the hardware here for the 410s. We knew it was going to happen here, but we didn't know he was going to do it in style here and bring home the checkered flag as well. So hats off to Blake Chapman on another great season here in the 410s and the 360s. Wraps up championship week with the checkered flag. And on behalf of everyone here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, I thank you for tuning in all season. I want to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for being such an awesome sponsor here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I mean, you guys have been with us for years. You're such an integral part, and we wouldn't be able to put on these broadcasts without you guys. But everyone else, man, all the admins, Roger Craig, we thank you here for putting up with all the BS and watching our exciting racing here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So next week, Monday, or I guess we race here tomorrow night. Marty will be on the call. That's important here. Thursday Night Thunder Championship night. But next Monday, man, it's one near and dear to me. The Cassie Heinma benefit race is going to be next Monday. We're going to have 3 50-lap races. I will be on the call. Our normal guy, Marty, he's going to race. So going to be a lot of fun Monday night. Check out the Coast to Coast website, ctcrl.com. You could help benefit or help donate towards Cassie's medical bills here. That would definitely help the Hine family a lot. It's John Hine, man. He's been there for me through a lot. And, Roger and I talked last night. If probably not for John Hine, I'm not here and I'm not putting on this broadcast for you guys. So owe John a lot. And the least we can do is try to help them out in these stressful times. But like I said, on behalf of everybody here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, all the admins, Roger Craig, I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, signing off. Have a good evening.